What's going on YouTube? So last year, Toyota launched a all-new Tacoma with the aim of keeping its top spot as the best-selling midsize truck. And for 2025, they're already making some tweaks to improve this Tacoma formula. So, should you save up your dollars to get this loaded limited Tacoma? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Now let's go ahead and start out under the hood of this Tacoma. So of course this got a new powertrain. This is a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine making 278 horsepower. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and our combined fuel economy for today's example comes in at 21 mpg.
Now the base price for the Tacoma this year is $31,000, and if you're looking to buy a Tacoma or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. Now, of course, we will also be taking this out for a spin later on. While we're on that drive, we'll be getting things like our sound level reading. We'll also, at the end, be discussing resale and reliability.
But let's go ahead and close up the hood because the Limited, of course, is the most luxurious trim, and it does have some special touches on the outside as well as the inside. Now, as far as the front end design, like I was saying, there are some special touches for the Limited trim. There's like 20 different trims that you can get this Tacoma in, and each one is going to have different characteristics and things that you can identify it, especially up in the front. With the Limited grade, you're going to notice that we've got all the shiny bits, basically. So you've got the chrome finish that goes across the grille with all the bars. That's also going to continue down here to the lower fascia as well. And while I'm thinking about it, I do want to mention one 2025 change. It doesn't impact the Limited specifically, but the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter both get recovery hooks that are easier to access this year. Now moving over here to our headlights, as you can see, we have projector LED headlights. This is the up-level unit for the headlight cluster, which includes things like our dynamic turn signal indicator. We also have LED fog lights located right here. And then as we move around to the back, the Limited's going to give you some shinier bits back here as well.
Yeah, it really makes it seem like the fanciest Tacoma you can get. Now, as far as some of those special design touches, you'll notice that we have a chrome handle for our tailgate. We also have chrome Tacoma branding through here. Now, as far as our taillights are concerned, as you would expect out of one of the most expensive versions of the Tacoma, we do have a fully LED taillight. So the brake light, the turn signal, and the reverse light are all LED, so that's really quite nice. And then as we drop down to the lower fascia, this is going to be a mixture of body color as well as some matte plastic. Your tow rating comes in at 6,500 pounds. And I want to point out that the hybrid model does tow just a little bit less at 6,000 pounds. Now, as far as the tailgate itself, we have a really cool feature. So when I press that button, you'll notice that it, lowers down, but that's not the only thing that this does. It's actually a fully power tailgate here on the Limited trim level. So that's one of those bougie touches that you get here on the Limited, and it has a really cool touch to it. You can actually kick it up with your knee, so if your hands are full, you can easily shut the tailgate as well. And then you'll also notice over here in the taillight itself, we also have this button, so you can just kind of elbow that if you need to get in the bed really easily, if your hands are full. Now, as far as the tailgate itself is concerned, this is the 5-foot bed. You can also get 6-foot beds on some versions of the Tacoma. As you can see, we also have the bed liner. We have some LED lighting on the side as well as some rails. Additionally, over here on the left side, we have a little storage cubby with some outlets inside. And then the payload on this model is 1,700 pounds. You also have a household outlet over there on the left side. And then as far as accessing the bed, I haven't showed this yet, but we do have a kind of pop-out side step here, so you can just easily kick that down, and that does make getting in and out quite easy.
Now, just like with the grille, the wheels have a lot of different designs you can choose from depending on the trim level. These are 18-inch alloys for the Limited trim. They've got that matching chrome finish with a little bit of color contrast accents in between the spokes. Moving up here to our mirrors, nice shiny finish on these. You will find blind spot monitoring on all but the base Tacoma as well.
Now, at the side of the Tacoma, I was kind of mentioning the bed configurations. You can get a 5 or 6 foot bed, and as far as the cab configurations, you can actually get kind of a half door setup on some of your lower end models. But if you choose a TRD Sport or above, that's where you're going to get this full 4-door configuration. Now, as far as the safety systems are concerned, I'm happy to tell you that regardless of which trim level you choose in the Tacoma lineup, you will get every single one of your active safety features as standard equipment. That will even include things like adaptive cruise control. But guys, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised with the interior on this limited Tacoma, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
And if you want to know about all the latest and greatest rides, then make sure to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the newest cars. Now let's move on to the inside. Here, of course, is our Tacoma key fob. Typical Toyota key fob. No branding or anything on the back of it. All Tacomas have smart entry this year, and it means you can just reach behind the handle. That will unlock the door. One thing that none of the other trims of the Tacoma have are these running boards. That is exclusive to the Limited, giving you that elevated feel when you get inside the vehicle. Now, when you look inside this truck, you are going to notice some elevated materials and design compared to the other trims. Before we talk about any of that, though, I want to start by talking about the seats. At the Limited grade, you do get a Softex leatherette seat. So this is Toyota's faux leather. However, it's very realistic. I love the stitching and quilting design, as well as the perforations that go through the bolsters and through here. You've got 2 different colors you can choose from, a black, or you can get this color right here. You have 10-way power adjustment, or 12-way power adjustment with 4-way lumbar support, and you do not have memory seats. But let's go ahead and climb inside. And like I was just saying, you have a lot of other special materials inside of the interior. Checking out the door trim, we've got a leatherette through here, color contrast leatherette through there, even a full leatherette finish across the top part for you to rest your arm on, like so. The upper part of the dash is a hard touch plastic, but through the center section, we have a very realistic faux wood trim with Tacoma branding that runs all through there, leatherette all across the glove box there. And you have a little rubber thing here on our assist grip. But let's go ahead and fire it up with the push button start. Now that it's fired up, let's dig into the feature set. Beginning here with our gauge cluster. Most of the trims are going to get this digital cluster for 2025. Obviously, that includes the Limited trim. It's got those nice meaty graphics. You can reconfigure a bunch of different things in terms of the overall design. And in addition to that, the Limited trim is going to give you a very nice head-up display. Pulling back to the steering wheel, of course, it's nicely leather wrapped. You have the perforated leather on the outside edges. It is also heated as standard equipment on the Limited trim level, manual tilt and telescoping. Opening up our glove box, or center console, I should say, let's take a look at the interior storage. So obviously we've got some donuts inside. That's because here at Car Confections, we like to check the volume and see how many donuts will fit inside. The answer today is 10, so it doesn't quite pass the dozen donut test, but it is pretty close. And you do have some additional storage that's outside of this, including big cup holders, this nice area right through here. You have wireless phone charging pad and another area where you can stick a phone right next to it, and that's close to, of course, those USB-C ports. And then up top, you'll notice a big passenger storage shelf. Now in terms of the shifter, you've got a really nice, meaty shifter. Pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to control the shifts manually. No paddle shifters, of course. And then we go into reverse. The Limited trim also gives you the 360-degree camera system. So as you can see, you've got the overhead view and the classic view right now, but you have this big old list of things that you can cycle between to see all types of other views, including even a view of the bed. You have an electronic parking brake with brake hold. You have another knob here which controls both your drive mode and also activates your towing mode and your four-wheel drive system. It's a very versatile knob. Moving above, speaking of knobs, you have these big meaty knobs, kind of almost the same design to these for your climate control. So Limited does come with a dual zone automatic setup. Very simple to adjust even when you have gloves on, something that we're aware of today. And also we're utilizing the standard 3-stage heated seats. We will not be utilizing the 3-stage ventilation today though. Right there in the center, we have another knob. It is our volume knob. On the Limited trim, we have the standard JBL sound system. It has 10 speakers, and we'll go ahead and give that a sample right now. Kind of a nice peaceful sound sample, but when the bass hits, it does have pretty good bass as well. And overall, it's right in line with what you get in similar midsize trucks. The one thing though that does really stand out is the fact that you can come up here and actually take this speaker with you on the go. So it's just kind of a standalone JBL speaker for your tailgating, camping, all those things you might be doing. Now in terms of the display, you've got the big 14-inch display on the Limited trim. It's got Toyota's newest software. You've seen this on a number of their products. It's very simple. You just have those 5 shortcuts on the side. It's got the things you're going to be looking for as well, such as wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it has a built-in navigation system. Up top here, we've got the digital camera rear view mirror with HomeLink remotes built inside of it. Nice place for your sunglass holder. And in terms of the sunroof situation, Limited is the trim level where this becomes standard.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this Tacoma's rear seat. So when you choose a high-end model like this Limited, you are going to get the standard double cab, which means you have the full 4-door setup and a full rear seat as well. Now, how much space are you going to find? Well, unfortunately, it's not going to be a ton. It's going to be about 33.7 inches of legroom and about 38 inches of headroom. The headroom is, pretty good overall. However, the legroom, I think, is a little bit lacking. It's going to be smaller than a lot of the rivals, and we have the official Car Confections ruler to see how much knee room I have behind Drew's 5'8" driving position. We are sitting at only about 4 inches of additional knee room. I'm 5'9" for reference. My feet can barely slide up underneath of the seat. It is a little bit tight, though, so that's just something to keep in mind. And if you are curious as to maybe some of the more spacious offerings in the segment, we have actually ranked every midsize and compact truck at carconfections.com/vehicle rankings, and you can see their strengths and weaknesses, so you can go through the different things that matter more to you, if that's space, if that's technology, off-road capability. No matter what matters most to you, you can find that and see your best options in the segment. So we definitely encourage you to check out carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. Now, as far as features are concerned, here in the center, we do have 2 cup holders up top. That's quite nice. We also have a household outlet. I'm really happy to see that, plus 2 USB-C ports to keep everything nice and charged up. You do not have a center armrest, so that's something to keep in mind, but we do have a full power window back here, as you can see right now on the screen. And then let's also talk about some storage solutions. If you pull that strap there, that's going to reveal quite a lot of storage space underneath of the seats themselves. I do like also that it doesn't come up in just one piece, so you can have people sitting back here while still storing items underneath. Now, if you look over at the door trim, it is going to be cheaper than in the front, so we have a hard touch upper part. However, our armrest portion itself is nicely done. Additionally, you have wood trim, even on the door trim. I kind of like that. And then down at the bottom, quite a bit of bottle storage. All right, so here we are behind the wheel of the 2025 Toyota Tacoma. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things. As you can see on the screen right now, we'll also be getting things like our sound level reading. But first, we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
Alright, there we are going up to 60 miles per hour. Now, of course, the big news with this next generation of the Tacoma was, getting a new powertrain, well, 2 new powertrains actually. We've got the 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, as we mentioned at the beginning. That means it's got 278 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque, which is a good number, especially the torque figure. I think, if you're an owner of the previous one with a V6, what you will notice mostly is that you do have additional torque over that, which gives you a little bit more of a sensation of acceleration when you take off.
Yeah, I think the torque really feels quite nice, and if you're someone that really craves power, here on the limited trim level, you actually can option on that second engine choice, which Drew was talking about. That is going to be a hybridized setup. This one is the full gasoline setup. However, they offer the iForce Max Hybrid. That is essentially the same powertrain, a 2.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder. However, you're going to add electric components to that. Total system is 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. So over 100 pound-feet more torque if you choose that hybridized model. We've driven that in various other Toyota products. It's a very good powertrain, so I would recommend, if that's something you crave, is more power, definitely select that. It is an option on the limited trim level for, I believe, around $3,000, or standard on your TRD Pros and your Trail Hunter trim levels.
Yeah, plenty of torque, and they've actually made it still have a beefy sound to it as well. Now, let's talk about the other element of the powertrain, and that is the 8-speed automatic transmission. This is a nice and smooth transmission, a good partner to the overall powertrain system. One of the things that's cool about the Tacoma versus other midsize trucks is that you can still get a manual transmission. Not on the Limited specifically,
yeah,
but you do have availability of that on certain trim levels, which, again, is just kind of a really cool thing. We've been seeing that just disappear over time in this segment. So I really like that they make that available for someone who wants a little bit more of a pure truck experience. But like I said, in terms of the 8-speed automatic, it's really good.
Yeah. As far as how power is routed to the ground, 4-wheel drive is actually standard here on the limited trim level, so that's a nice standard feature. On some of your lower end models, you would have to option that on. And as far as fuel economy is concerned, there are tons of different fuel economies depending on what trim level you choose. As far as this one, we have the standard gas powertrain on the limited. 21 mpg is going to be your fuel economy figure. If you choose the hybrid version, you can actually boost that up to about 24 miles per gallon. So the hybrid version gets better fuel economy as well as provides more power.
Now, this does have an auto start stop system. The overall operation of that is quite smooth.
But we're turning out on a highway portion, and I think this would be a great time to just go ahead and discuss ride quality. That's one of my favorite things about the limited Tacoma specifically, is the fact that you are going to get an adaptive damper system here on the limited trim. It's standard equipment, and it does a really good job of kind of smoothing out your overall truck-like ride. Now, I'm very happy they did this because, typically when you have a body-on-frame truck like this, it does let in a lot of little vibrations and things like that. This limited does smooth that out to a certain degree. It still does feel like a truck. It's not going to convince you that you're in like a Mercedes S-Class or anything, but it overall does a great job of giving you good ride quality. Also, the 18-inch wheels on the outside are relatively small, so I think if you're looking for a good ride, this limited is definitely a fantastic choice. Now, we are going 55 miles per hour, so let's go ahead and get our sound level reading. We are sitting at 61.2 decibels as our sound level reading, going 55 miles per hour here in Kentucky. Now, as far as how that compares to the rivals, we can find that at carconfections.com/sound level readings, where we've tested out all the other mid-sized trucks that you could be looking for, as well as some of the compact options as well. Now, that sound level reading is going to place it on the louder end of the segment, that's for sure. I do want to point out we are kind of in some winter weather here, so it's a little windier than our normal sample. However, we are in our home state of Kentucky, so this should be our more accurate reading as compared to our previous samples in California. Boy, far cry weather-wise from the last time we tested out a Tacoma, that's for sure. All right, and let's get into our car confection slam dunk and airball, which is our favorite and least favorite element about the Tacoma. Drew, why don't you kick us off with the slam dunk?
For the slam dunk, we're going to say it's just how nice this limited trim level is compared to, the rivals, which have luxury trims as well. I think you do get a little bit more of a refined experience generally, and some kind of class exclusive features, things that I really like, power running boards, for example. And overall, it's just a good luxury experience.
Yeah, and on the airball side, what we're going to say is the price. I'm sure a lot of you guys really like the new Tacoma, but the price is a little bit of an obstacle for many of you guys. It is very expensive. They raised the price on this new generation quite a lot, $55,000, and we don't even have the hybrid system. Seems like a lot to me, that's for sure. So just keep that in mind. You will have to pay to play in that sense. All right, and let's talk about pricing for the Tacoma. So, as I said at the very beginning, we start at $31,000 this year. It's really minimal price increases. I know a lot of news was about how expensive this Tacoma was. Well, Toyota didn't raise the price really at all for 2025, so that's, good news for you guys. Now, as far as this limited model, we start at $52,555. As you can see right there, lots of fives on there. We also have a couple options on this particular tester, plus $14,995 destination. We're sitting at $55,884 for the standard gas model. As you can see right here, we do have the 25 Tacoma Limited. And, of course, prices can go up from here as well. If you get some of the TRD models, you can go well into the $60,000 price point, so just keep that in mind. Now, if you're looking to buy a Toyota Tacoma or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Toyota Tacoma's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 64.5% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 41.4%. Now, it's worth noting that is some of the very best resale value percentages out there. It's actually the second best overall, and in the 10-year metric, it is one of the very, very best. Additionally, when it comes to the Tacoma, it has a reputation for having extremely good resale value, even better than the average Toyota. So certainly that's something worth considering if you're looking at buying a midsize truck.
Another thing to consider is reliability, which is why we developed the Combined Reliability Index. That takes into account several studies on reliability and combines them into one to give you a holistic picture. In this regard, Toyota is rated as our #1 brand for overall reliability.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values, reliability data, or our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Now, I also want to point out Toyota's warranty is a 3-year, 36,000-mile basic, 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain. They do also give you 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the 2025 Toyota Tacoma Limited. If you enjoyed watching this wintry review, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel, and I promise you won't want to miss out. So do yourself a favor, subscribe down below. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.